When you see people who look different than you. From an outsider's perspective, you can think like, oh, these people are all the same, but they're actually very unique, very colorful.
Kosher or not kosher is good.
When the cameras come into the community, very often there's already a predetermined narrative of what the people who are bringing the cameras want to portray.
You go to Hawaii, you take a picture from the beach. You go to Rome, you look at the old structures, and you come to Borough Park and you walk away, you want to bring something from Judaica.
You come with an open mind and good intentions, you're going to have a blast. You come with bad intentions, you're going to be run out of town real fast.
Today we're going to show you around a neighborhood that's very unique in New York City, Borough Park, and we have got the perfect ambassador to guide us through this. Shlomi, there are 1 million Jews approximately in New York City, 100,000 of which are Hasidic. What are some of the defining characteristics of the Hasidic community?
The Hasidic movement in general consists of ultra-Orthodox Jews, so I don't like to use the term more religious, but they try to be more stringent with Jewish law. That's the gist of it.
What about the dress?
Oh yeah, so obviously most Hasidic Jews, they dress in black and white, and very different from what you'll see is the regular fashion in New York City.
For the first time ever on the channel, we are having kosher pizza, and you are a huge fan of Mendelsohn's. Why is this place so special?
I've been eating here since I'm a little kid. Everybody in Borough Park has been eating there since they're children, but it's just a staple. This is like a landmark in Borough Park. If you haven't been to Mendelsohn's, you haven't been to Borough Park.
My grandparents opened the business in 1969 when there was very little exposure to pizza at all in America as well. And my grandmother, being a kosher chef, she said, let's try this new concept of food. Kids like them. I cook for children, and September of 1969, they opened the first kosher pizzeria in this neighborhood. And again, a lot of non-Jewish, non-affiliated come here as well. They like our food because, we make great food here.
What makes kosher pizza different than the pizza I get down the block in a non-kosher spot?
Basically, we are restricted to a kosher dietary concepts. No meat, no pepperoni on the pizza. So the pizza is pretty much a cheese pizza, vegetarian pizza, and there's no meats involved. But other than that, ingredients today in kosher market is second to none. Great ingredients. We can source ingredients from anywhere in the world, kosher concepts.
Thank you so much. This might be one of the biggest pizza places I've seen in New York. Now that I think about it, they're usually tiny.
The biggest one I've ever seen.
It's the biggest one you've ever seen?
Yeah, and it's probably the largest kosher pizza shop in the world. Okay, so the pizza here is interesting for two reasons, I would say. Number one, I think the sauce is sweeter than pizza you typically have.
Okay.
Additionally, there's a good crunch when you bite into it, but it doesn't make the slice hard. It's just, you'll see what I'm saying when you bite in.
Solid slice. Kosher or not kosher is good. In this community, all the food places that you would eat at need to be kosher. What other options do people have outside of something like pizza or a bagel?
Oh, there's so much.
Like, what's the craziest option, the craziest thing that's kosher that we wouldn't think about?
There's obviously no ham, no bacon, no shellfish,
Okay.
no shrimp, but there are sort of imitations of all these things. So you can get like a really good burger with some fried bacon on top, or you can get some fake shrimp in your sushi or that kind of thing.
And they do have sushi here as well. I
Yeah.
saw that in front. I thought that was really interesting that inside of a kosher pizza place, you've got kosher sushi right inside.
Yeah, sushi has almost become like a Jewish food. Like every place has sushi.
Do you think that if a tourist walked in here or someone who's not from the Hasidic community, would they have any issues? Would they feel uncomfortable?
They might feel uncomfortable, but that's sort of a self-imposed thing. When you walk into a neighborhood where everyone looks different, and you're the odd one out, you tend to feel uncomfortable. But I don't think anybody would make them feel uncomfortable. Certainly anybody who came here with an open mind, in my experience, the people I've brought here have always had a good time.
Very, always. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm almost really sad that I live an hour away from here, because I'd have this all the time.
I taste most of the food almost every day. And the main thing is the pizza. I taste every day the pizza. The workers know I come in, the first thing, I taste the pizza, make sure it's perfect, you know? And they know, they're scared of the fact, what happens if it's not going to be perfect today.
It's not perfect, she's going to get mad.
Not mad, but throughout the whole batch, you have to redo everything. They know, I mean, I don't get mad, I don't get upset, it's just a matter of, hey, this has to be correct, this has to be right, this has to be perfect.
We are going to a surprise stop that's very personal to me. That's all I'm going to say. So, I mean, we're about to enter the heart of Borough Park.
Right.
And you've described it to me as another world compared to what people might generally think of New York City, right?
Yeah. This would be a very shallow point, but this is just obviously the truth that at face value, when you see people who look different than you, and they're all wearing sort of the same clothing, they're all black and white, it can seem very black and white. Like from an outsider's perspective, you can think like, oh, these people are all the same, but they're actually very unique, very colorful. There are so many different groups within the black and white, and that's something I'm trying to help the world understand. I think you're going to meet a lot of nice people. People are going to be curious about you. They're going to want to know why you're here. Some might ask. Most will probably just stare. They're not trying to be impolite. It's just whenever the media comes here, and I know you're not the media, but whenever people come here with cameras, people will get like a little, suspicious. What's going on here? Do they have an agenda? So hopefully, if you're with me, things are going to be fine.
Okay.
I'm sure things are going to be fine, and I think we're all going to have a great time.
I decided to stop here because I recently found out that when my parents, my grandma, who was a Holocaust survivor, and my older brother moved to New York City in 1978 from the Soviet Union, they lived on this block for the first year of their American experience. And how does that tie in with the demographics here in Borough Park?
Pretty much all of the Hasidic Jews who live here in Borough Park are either Holocaust survivors, descendants of Holocaust survivors. Some of them made it out of Europe before the Holocaust, but the majority of them settled here and in other areas of Brooklyn, and that's why your story is a little bit similar to the rest of us.
Yeah. So my own past started here in New York City, even though I grew up in Jersey. This is where my parents originally came to with just $200 in their pocket to start their lives here. One of the languages here in Borough Park is Yiddish, and there are many words that come from Yiddish that are actually used in everyday interactions in New York City right now. What are some of your favorites?
So I'd say it's not just in New York City. It's all over America and in pop culture. I mean, Yiddish has definitely made some noise. So we got the classic oy vey, Meshuga, Mazel Tov, L'chaim. Those are not Yiddish words, but they're definitely associated with Yiddish because they're Jewish words.
Schlepping.
Yeah, schlepping.
Toches? Maybe? No?
Yeah.
I'm improvising. I'm coming up with some.
Very good. What else you got?
My grandma used to speak to me and my brother in Yiddish, so I actually knew a couple words.
Really?
I could count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
I try sometimes, yeah.
So Yiddish is definitely the language in the community. Everyone here speaks Yiddish. Even a lot of the non-Jewish people who work here have picked up Yiddish. And I'm talking fluent. As for English, everybody speaks English as well, some to a higher degree than others, but most people's English here is really good. And Yiddish is definitely the language of the town.
So you're saying there could be a non-Jewish person working at, let's say, like a pizza place like your uncle's spot, like a Latino person that speaks Yiddish really well.
Yeah, I've seen it. There are sometimes you see a black person speaking in rapid fire Yiddish, and it's just always entertaining.
That's New York for you, though.
Yeah.
That's New York for you. That's the melting pot that is New York City, is we have cultures really blending together like that in really cool ways. I hardly see people wearing masks here. What's the community's opinion of COVID right now?
The community's opinion of COVID, and I'm not a spokesperson for the community, but I can tell you what the general feel on the street is. Everybody's had it. I would say 80-90% of the people here have had it. They have antibodies, and they're not very worried about it. Obviously, if you go into a store, there are laws, so you need to put one on.
Okay.
It's sort of like each person has to make a decision for themselves.
Okay.
If they're worried, they're going to wear a mask. If they're not worried, they won't. And that's the way it's going pretty much right now. At the beginning of the pandemic, people were taking it very, very seriously, and it hit this community quite hard. I wouldn't say, I'm not sure, again, I'm not into statistics, but everybody had it. Chances are, if you asked anybody in the street if they had COVID, the answer is going to be yes, more than 95% of the time. Starting tomorrow night and Friday is the holiday of Purim, which is, some people might get upset about this, but the way for your viewers to understand it would be that it's like, sort of like Halloween, but very different because Halloween is a pagan thing, and this is definitely not.
Of course.
It's a holiday where people get dressed up in costumes, give lots of charity. Everyone makes parties. They give out like these food baskets. Everyone gives out food baskets to their friends and family, and the men get really drunk. It's a good time.
Will you be dressing up?
Absolutely.
And what are you going to be this year?
I can't talk about it yet. My wife doesn't let me.
Your wife doesn't let you. It's top secret. Okay. All right, we're in front of Eichlers right now.
Eichlers.
Eichlers.
Huh. There you go. You got it.
Eichlers. I got it. See, I still have it. I thought this was an interesting store to show people visiting New York. If you want a Judaica item, this would be a cool stop, right?
Yeah, so this store has anything a Jewish religious person would need pretty much from when they're born until they pass away.
We're going to show you guys inside some things that you might want to come and buy yourself. Let's get in there. You know, what really caught my attention actually was this a superhero one.
Yeah, this we use for Purim. This sells more out of town than locally.
I was going to say, I could imagine people visiting might want to buy this.
You go to Hawaii, you take a picture from the beach. You go to Rome, you look at the old structures, and you come to Borough Park and you walk away, you want to bring something from Judaica. So if you could blend Judaica and something that younger kids love, parents love to bring it back for the children.
This is a gold kippah for $100. You can get anything here. What would draw somebody in here who maybe isn't Jewish and wants a really interesting souvenir of their trip to Borough Park?
Shot glasses. You okay?
Yeah. You break it, you buy it, Ben.
Wine decanters, pictures.
This
homeware.
this has caught my attention. This is
Okay.
a Judaica shot glass. I may have to buy this actually. I'm into this. I love shot glasses.
There you go.
I don't do shots enough, but I like shot glasses.
Well, they're really just for the
They're just for
curio.
display, yeah.
Candles are central to Jewish celebration. Every Friday night, every holiday, we light candles. Saturday night again. So we have a lot of different kinds of candle holders, and we have candelabras because people light an extra candle for every child.
Okay.
And you know, people around here have large families,
Okay.
so that's a lot of candles.
Awesome.
But those also look great on a mantelpiece. On Purim, which is coming up, one of the ways we celebrate is by giving gifts of food to our friends. So it turned into kind of a holiday of gratitude. So people give gifts to people who they want to thank, or people who they care about.
So John, I just wanted to show you this. This is Aimey magazine. It's the magazine I work for, and I believe it's the largest English language Orthodox Jewish magazine in the world.
Is this your friend here?
This is not my friend. This guy's name is Uncle Maishi. He's like children's entertainer, Hasidic guy, and we all grew up listening to his music and his stories.
Here, I'm seeing people left and right taking photos of us. What's going on with that?
So almost nobody has televisions here. Internet is more of a gray area because it's pretty much needed right now in this day and age.
I would love to try that here because that's like something I've tried in all the other delis in New York. I want to see it right here, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Let's try it.